brand new day I've never seen before. So I speak real nice to my day. I start with prayer to push my way as I follow the path that's lit for me, and I speak to the light I see. Hello, sun. Hello, shining bright today. Your sunshine makes me feel okay. I love a sunny day. As the sun hits my face, I can feel the energy flow. I'm alive, and that alone is a reason to rejoice. So I thank you for the sunshine, even thank you for the rain. I even thank you for the beauty the sun brings after the rain. Hey, hey, sun. Hello, sun. Hello, sun. Shining bright today. Feels so good. Your sunshine makes me feel great. I love a sunny day. When the sun meets my eyes, I can't help but smile, and it makes me feel so good. So grab a friend or who's ever around, and together you'll greet the beautiful shining sun and say hello. Hello, sun. Hello, sunshine today. Feels so good. Your sunshine, it makes me feel okay. I love a sunny day. It's a beautiful day outside. Let's get ready to smile. I love a sunny day. I love when the sun is shining. Oh my. I love a sunny day. I'm feeling it, the moment is nice. I'm feeling it, the moment is right. I love a sunny day. To get up and move with me and get your dance on. I love a sunny day. It's so beautiful, beautiful to me. I love a sunny day. The energy the sun brings makes me feel free. I love a sunny day. I love the sunny day. I love a sunny day. Come on, everybody, enjoy the sun with me.
And everybody should know that's how love goes. It's good for the soul. Oh, I got a long way to go, but it won't stop the pain. No, that's the kind of thing that keeps me coming back again and again. Till I see your face, I won't be satisfied. No, no, I won't stop. I won't quit until I'm yours and you are mine.
Good evening. Welcome. You're tuning in live to the Healthy Soul Talk Show with your girl, your favorite therapist, Dr. Kimberly Thomas. Come on in here on this beautiful evening. I know it's a little rainy, but hey, we need it because my garden is getting watered. Welcome, y'all. If you're tuning in live to the Blog Talk station, you can dial 323-870-4375. Press 1 to join. Again, that's 323-870-4375. Press 1 to join. And of course, if you're tuning in live on Facebook, why don't you do us a favor and go ahead and like, love, and share this live. We have a closing or conclusion of the month talking about men and uplifting uplifting men. You can email us at hst@ttlomedia.net to email us any questions, concerns, or if you want us to touch on any topics. Again, that's hst@ttlomedia.net. And, of course, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Healthy Soul Talk. Yes, all one word. Again, welcome you tuning in live to the Healthy Soul Talk show with your girl, your favorite therapist, Dr. Kimberly Thomas. Come on in here. How are you all doing? My favorite producers.
I'm doing well.
King, Miss Latonya.
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm all right. It's the first week of summer camp. Tell the Lord thank you.
What you trying to say?
It's been a good week.
It sounds like she's trying to make it sound like my little buddy is a problem or something.
No, I didn't say that. I just said
But
it was
you
the
real
first.
thankful.
Yes.
Your thankfulness is coming off as a little bit of relief.
You just don't understand.
It sounds more like relief than thankfulness.
You just don't.
I think there's a stark difference between relief and thankfulness.
I had to confirm a few times. What time do you open? Huh? That's fine. I'll be here right after that, right? 7:01, huh?
Oh, Lord.
Indeed. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
You all have any traveling and all that good stuff planned for this amazing season?
Not immediately. We did have. We looking to do something though. We're actually, I forgot. We were supposed to be gone this week, weren't we, originally? Weren't we supposed to leave the week of the concert after the concert? Oh, we are. I don't know if your mic is on or not.
What?
She's probably 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
You ready?
Okay, she's not ready. Go ahead. Because you're not talking.
Let me
we
just
can't,
say,
we
the
can't
concert
tell.
was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was.
Says thank you too.
Who said? Jalen. He says thank you too.
Right.
What?
Remember, he was like, Dana is TTLO and we the rest.
Oh yeah, that was the joke at Taco Tuesday. Was that there was Dana and TTLO.
He did us like
I'm Eddie Kane.
The Fat Heartbeat.
Right, I'm Eddie. Right, I'm Eddie Kane. And these. No, what's my man's name? What happened to Temptations? What's the lead singer's name? Not Eddie Kendricks. I'm David Ruffin.
Oh,
and
wow.
these are the Temptations.
That is
That's how he
funny.
did us.
Although I didn't do that.
It's the way you make people feel.
It's not intentional. It's not my doing. It's not my doing. Yeah, perception is everything, but it's not my doing.
Y'all are funny.
It's definitely not my doing. But no, thank you. Did you have a good time?
I did.
Did you meet some people at the vendors? Did some people come and ask you what the heck was Healthy Soul Talk and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, about that.
Okay. Yeah.
All my stuff kept blowing away.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it out. Zane was like, "Where the stuff at?" And I was like,
Yeah, that win was
She said, "Where's everything?" Yeah, I was like, it literally, because for me, so that was my first time, right?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was the first, and so everything was light. So we have it's called Soul Affirmations, right? That's the trademark that we have, and we have this definition that we created, and so it's a picture frame, a diffuser, small bottle, and so so everything was blowing over. And
Oh, no.
Oh no!
I need that diffuser stuff for my diffuser.
You got
Yes.
it's on the way.
Why you just didn't hit us with the Lene? My name is Lene. Like you could have opened up your car doors or something.
So back to the drawing board we went.
You know what you should get?
Put it on the shop on Facebook.
Get you that too, but get you a wooden stand box that opens up that has little shelves in it, and you can lock it. It's like a case.
Yes.
And it's
Okay.
like you open it up and boom, and it's
There it
wooden,
is.
so it ain't going nowhere.
Got it. Okay.
Next time.
Yeah. So we should be ready for August.
How about August 7th?
Yes.
Oh.
Is that outside or
Okay,
inside?
that's when this vendor fair
You
is.
could be inside or outside.
Okay. Yeah. So that we went back to the drawing board. Like, okay, yeah. It was a little windy, so we will definitely be ready next time.
You was in a good spot though. You was where all the traffic was because you was like almost first in that line.
Right, and then a couple people
until the late people showed up. Right. Well, which one we call it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The snow cone man showed up, and that was.
Yeah, he was busy.
Yeah, he came in.
I didn't even get one.
I was like, where you?
I got one.
I saw you. Right, you had one.
I made Taylor go shopping everywhere.
I think Dr. Thompson had.
Couldn't shop at Dr. Thomas.
I think Dr. Thompson had a few snowballs.
Yeah, I think I had 6.
Every time
I thought 6 cups.
Every time I saw them, they had a cup.
Oh my God!
And it was full of ice every time I saw them.
Darn kids.
And so I asked dude, I was like, you got something in your snowball? Because I thought he had something on the, on the side.
He had some good flavors though. Mango,
should have went
strawberries.
I should have asked him for some snow, and I could have went to the trunk.
See.
The Bible says, as often as ye do this.
This is not communion.
My trunk.
I just said go to the trunk.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I heard me.
Okay, you did say go to the trunk.
I said go to the trunk. I heard me.
You said which trunk?
I heard me.
But yeah, everything was beautiful.
Well, we're glad you had a good time.
All the artists, right, were amazing.
And my little homie got a little taller. I didn't know who she was at first. She got a little taller. She almost a big girl. I said, oh, little homie. She was like, hey.
I'm gonna send her to you all.
Huh?
So she was outside playing with her
off.
friend.
Hold on, testing.
And the neighbors have a trampoline in their yard.
Sorry, we having feedback.
You'll like this one. And
go ahead.
she was outside playing on the trampoline. I just happened to go check on my garden.
Oh, Lord.
And they out there fighting on the trampoline.
Fighting who?
Each other.
Your daughter and who?
Her little friend.
Girl or boy?
Girl.
Oh, okay.
Did she handle her?
So
that's what we really want to know.
So you know your kid, right? You know when your kid is serious. So I just saw her grabbing her shoulders. My daughter was grabbing her shoulders and like shaking her, and the girl was like, "Stop fighting me!"
Oh,
and
so,
I'm like,
so your daughter's a bully.
No, so first of all, I'm like, girls, stop. They on the trampoline and there's no net around it.
Oh,
That's
so it's just an open trampoline.
It's open, so
oh, it's
like,
professional.
and you know it's not level, so they just bouncing up and down.
She may be your kindred spirit.
I like her already.
So my daughter started crying. I said, get over here, because you know I'm not
we might keep her
no
now.
gates.
We'll keep her for a couple days.
Yes. Guess what they was fighting over?
What's that?
A teddy bear. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I just
Whose teddy bear was it?
My daughter gave the neighbor the teddy bear.
Uh-huh.
And so this was the day before. So now they're outside. The teddy bear is outside. And my daughter's like, hey, can I see it? Right? Because you know they share toys. Like they always share toys. And the girl was like, no. Grabbed it.
Oh.
And there was no more words after that. So the girl was like, she just started pulling my hair.
Oh, yeah.
I think I like her too.
I think we can take her for a day or two.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure, we want to send her back with proper hands.
And she started grabbing my skin.
Your skin?
The girl.
Oh, the skin.
The girl was saying she grabbed my hair, she grabbed my arm, the skin.
The skin.
And so I had to get a little aggressive with her, right? That's what the girl is saying.
Who's older?
They were the same age.
Oh,
The same
okay.
age. And so, so the girl is still talking. And I'm like telling my daughter, come back over here, right? We're in the backyard, separate yards. And so the girl was like, I don't know why she's crying. She's the one that was fighting me. I'm like, girl, you need to wait till she get out of your yard. Because if she come back, right, for you, I'm not jumping any fences, right? And, you get what you get. But I'm trying to help you out, trying to get out of your yard.
What kind of parenting is this? But go ahead, I'm listening.
You know her child.
When you talking crazy, so just let me coerce her back on over here.
That's the word.
And hush your mouth.
Oh, okay.
Hush your mouth.
She got a little inside out angry. Her character is angry.
She got some TTLO family in her. She got a little TTLO blood in her. We
My
appreciate
goodness.
that.
So off the summer camp, you go every day.
What?
Right.
So rich.
Before old girl catch these hands.
A geek, right?
We just want to make sure. Yeah, you
And
you
not
can,
in the Holy Spirit.
you can send her through. We'll make sure she knows how to properly lay hands, both spiritually and physically.
Yum, yum, ring, ring.
She gonna be healing, and she gonna be healing the people.
Oh my goodness! I'm like, here we go. So yeah, that was the launch, of the week. Yeah. So she needs anger management, I guess.
No.
Or stop giving. I don't know. Kids just give away their stuff, and I told her, don't do that, right? Get your toys, bring your toys home. No, you can keep it for a day. Don't do that stuff. Yeah. So we talked about that as well. If you don't want, just because somebody asks for it doesn't mean you
Right.
say, here you go. Yes, keep your stuff. Because I just happened to walk out, right? It wasn't, I wasn't planning on being out there. But her dad should have been out there since they were in her yard. But yeah, here we go. All right. All right, y'all. Welcome. Come on in. Let's get started here, jumping into the spiritual connect point. We start the top of the show with a reflection. And so I thought about this question. And for me, again, it's the thought-provoking part of it, where, when I asked myself this question, I asked myself, what does this mean, and do I do it? And I must admit that sometimes I struggle with the meaning of that.
Okay.
And so, this is coming straight to you. Because there's just sometimes in life where even with the song, the question, kind of sparked for me from a song, what's the true meaning of that?
Okay.
Meaning how you act, right?
What did you find? Did you search? Did you do any searching? Oh, you did not. Oh.
No, and that's only because this is one of the ones where if I think about, all my teachings, right? What does it mean to trust in God, turn it over to Him, right? But initially, when I think about that phrase, because we say it a lot, right? For me, that was in the moment, right? It's one of those in the moment things that was put out there, right? Not necessarily, a process coming thereafter, your process coming after. It's in the moment when you're feeling really down, right? You even to the point where you're really nervous about something or you're really upset, right? I think there's a spectrum of emotions where you get to a breaking point and you don't have an answer at that moment. Even like, how do I even get through the next minute?
Okay.
Right. And sometimes, I get stuck and I feel like I linger sometimes and stuff. Because I don't exactly know what to do and think at the moment, right? When I communicate with God. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
It's like, and sometimes I get frustrated with that because sometimes I honestly think I go too long, right? Without what am I really trying to say to God, or how do I need to hear God? Sometimes my emotions linger too long.
Okay.
Right? And that's when, stuff is really happening where, we all go through things where it really, like, stifles us, right, at some point. And that's where I feel like, it could be something that totally throws me off or something that I have, gone through, right, like as an outcome of something. But it's at that moment where I can feel these emotions and those emotions linger, but I know I should be tuning into God, but it's like, oh, how do I snap out of, right, that. So the spiritual connect point question is, what does it mean to just stand, right? And I kind of put that phrase there from the song, when you've done all you can, just stand. And I thought about the words, that come with that song.
Okay.
Right? When you prayed and cried and prayed, when you, just don't know. For me, it's more of in the moment, right? So I don't know. I just wanted to hear more context to, especially when people tell you that, just be still.
Right.
Right? Just be still. Just be still. Just let God. And it's like, okay, I hear that,
Mm-hmm.
But what am I supposed to do with myself?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do with myself as I allow God into, right, this space where I'm desperate, right?
Right.
I'm emotionally overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm mentally overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm at this crossroad and
Mm-hmm.
I'm frustrated, right? So yeah, that's where I was with that. Like, what does that really mean when you say just stand? Like, that's where I was. I wanted to be in the moment.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So take it away from me.
I saw this, and of course I thought about the song too as soon as because I didn't look at the Latanya reads you all's messages.
Okay.
I wasn't on Facebook, so I wasn't in the group chat anymore. But so I'm back on Facebook, but I still don't listen on messages. So when she sent it to me, I was like, oh, the song. That was the first thing that came to mind. The song. So I went and listened to the song a couple times because I forgot that used to be one of my favorite Donnie. As well, it is still one of my favorite Donnie McClurkin songs, but it used to be one of my favorite just gospel songs. Period.
Yeah.
That was the one that he did with the Winans brother. The pastor,
Yes.
Marvin Winans. So anyway, I instantly went to the Bible.
Okay.
And it's a familiar passage. Turn with me, if you will, to the book of Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 6.
I'm gonna write this down
Yeah,
this time.
yeah.
Hold on.
Ephesians 6, 10 and 13. I believe it's the 10th verse. Yeah.
Okay.
Ephesians 6, 10 and starting at the 10th verse. And I'll read the King James and then I'll back that up a few minutes. It simply says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand.
Wow. Okay.
So I read that and I said, wow, that kind of fits if we're talking about the same thing. Then it goes on to talk about standing, have your, how to stand, have your loins girt about you with truth, having on the breastplate of righteousness and your feet shod with preparation of the gospel and peace, taking above the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of wickedness, take on the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit. All these things are part of the standing process. So your question, what do you do?
Yes.
There is we have an issue when it comes to standing still. Those of us who are busy have an issue with standing still. I mean, I'm speaking from experience, so I'm not throwing no shade at nobody. But those of us who are
Come on and throw it.
no, because those of us who are busy all the time, it's hard for us to stand still because we always feel like if we're moving, we're accomplishing. If we're busy, then we're productive, and busy doesn't always mean productive.
That is true.
And I'm sure you've learned that as well. Busy doesn't always mean productive. So what happens is you get to a part in your life where you say, okay, I'm here at this crossroads. Let's just say that. I'm at this crossroads, and what do I do when I get to the crossroad? Yeah. Do I just go not knowing which way, or do I stand here and wait until I'm directed? And then the question is, you ask the question that I'm going to ask back. How long do you stand before you move? How long do you stand? What type of patience do you have to wait on God to direct you, or how soon will you fall into your own devices and move on your own?
So I've gotten a little bit better.
Okay.
Meaning I now take time to deal with self, right? So for instance, I'm a therapist.
Yes.
So I give out a lot.
That's the rumor.
So I reached a point in my life where I said, okay, listen, you can't keep instilling in people to assess if this is the appropriate time to deal with what you're going through. Like at that moment, there'll be times where you have to assess this is not the time or place because you have too much going on. You're not in a good space.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, when I say that, I mean I've learned to stop. Right, I've learned to just sit. You know, and I say sit down, I mean do nothing. Don't make myself busy trying to get past it or push it under the rug. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten better at not trying to fix it or address it at that particular moment, knowing I'm not in a good space.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so therein, I've gotten better with that. So it used to be I didn't. Right. It used to be like I try to work through it. It used to be like, I was not given the time that I needed to give to God, right? To reveal to me, right? To replenish, to restore me. I did not do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And here I am like, okay, so when are you going to give the time, right?
Okay.
Because the time that you say you had, right, is still doing other stuff. It's still doing ministry. It's still pouring out to other people. So I couldn't substitute. There was no substitute just because you're at service,
Mm-hmm.
right? Does not mean, you're fully there if you are doing ministry on a Sunday.
Correct.
Does that make sense? So I've learned to say there has to be a designated time where I tap into the spirit, right? Where I allow this time with God to address that stuff with me. Right?
Okay.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like now I'm still at this place where I need to be more strategic.
Okay.
Right. So, because life gets harder, right? As you try to me, do the will of God.
Mm-hmm.
It gets harder. So people disappoint you. People, I believe in spiritual warfare, right? So people come at you in ways that you never thought. You think you're okay sometimes and somebody come and do or say something just totally knock you off your square.
The Bible, on that part of that verse where it says, and having done all to stand.
Mm-hmm.
Here's you have a couple of different translations that kind of make all this may help. One, the English Standard Version says, and having done all, stand firm.
Mm-hmm.
The NLT says, then after the battle, you will be standing firm. The Amplified Bible says to stand firm in your place, fully prepared, immovable, and victorious. And then, of course, the Message Bible says, so that when it's all over but the shouting, you will still be on your feet. So when the thing that came out for me in any of my studies of the Bible, especially when you had me look this up, was that there is never a time where God tells us to stop standing. There is no right. There's never a time where God says fight or flight. Human nature is fight or flight.
Yes.
God never says that. Even when you go through the descriptions of everything that he said, put on the whole armor of God, the breastplate is out, all this kind of stuff. The thing that God never gave us, and you notice in that description, which is amazing to me, he never gives us anything to cover our backs. Because he never intends for us to turn our back and run and hide. It's either fight or stand still. It's never flight. It's never turn around. So God doesn't give us an out.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Right now he never says there's a time to run and hide, right? He did. Now what that simply means is that means that what it doesn't mean is after you've given your best, you sit down and you give up. A lot of times we feel like, okay, I've done everything. Now I'm going to sit back and let God do it. No, you stand in it. See, you have to stand in it because God will use, I heard a preacher say this one time, he takes the strength out of defeat. Right? So in Exodus, he said this to them. He said, don't be afraid. This is what Moses said to the people. Don't be afraid, stand firm and watch God do his work of salvation for you today. Or stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. So the Israelites had done all they could. They had marched as far as they could. Yeah. Now, some wanted to turn around and go back, which would have been a problem.
Right.
But Moses said, no, we're not going to run. We're not going to hide, nor are we going to fight. We're going to stand still and let God work.
Yes.
So a lot of times we have to recognize that we're not going to be by ourselves because God is going to always be with us in those times, even when we don't see him. I preached a sermon last year called you have to learn to trust him when you can't even trace him.
Right.
And so, then the question that we need to start to ask ourselves is, how do we stand?
I like that question.
How do we stand?
I like that.
Right? How do we stand? Because there is some difficulty in standing. It's kind of like there's the trust factor. You ever been to one of those retreats? And you've probably seen it, where they have you stand up and blindfolded and fall backwards,
Yes.
and you have to trust
the person.
trust the group.
Yeah.
Right. You either trust the group or they have you do it with the person. Now, they don't really do it with just one person because people can drop you. But you have to trust the group. And sometimes they have you stand on a platform and fall back. So you have to trust. So in this case, if we are willing to take that leap of faith on humans who are flawed, then why wouldn't we not? Why would we not stand still for a God who is not flawed, who does not lose battles, who has never been defeated? Right?
Yes.
So then what we have to learn to do is not to, as we mature, we have to learn to not attack immediately either.
Correct.
Right. Because it's easy to want to get back. Right.
Yes.
It's easy to want to get back. It's easy to want to be able to say, I got this. I'm gonna show them better than I can tell them. It's easy to say that. The hard part to do is to stand still and trust God
to work it out.
Because I want to do them. I want to get them back myself, God. But the Bible says, "Vengeance is mine."
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where I've grown at. Like, I've grown in that area. And so now it's like, the more you do for Christ, the more is revealed to you as well, right? Because you have to discern who's with you, right? Who's not with you, right? Who's working against you, And so for me, it's just like I had to, and I'm still learning to ignore that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To not even address it and trust God, right? That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That won't make or break you, right? That has nothing to do with where God is sending you. So don't get stuck, right? Don't compare, right? Don't, and some things are subtle, right? Not everything is aggressive and this, it's some things are subtle. And so that's kind of where I am with, like, okay, to just stand means trusting God in a deeper way.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
As you do His will, as you grow, right? And you try to stay focused and stay humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot, right? And so I just put that question out there because it's like, okay, sometimes you have to change how you stand.
Standing is difficult, especially when you don't feel like moving.
Huh.
Yeah. Standing is difficult when you don't feel like moving. Standing is it stretches you in ways that you normally aren't prepared for or that you can't imagine.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
I agree. Standing gets uncomfortable. And then standing is misunderstood by people who are around you. Because they can't understand why would you just stand there?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you go back? Didn't you hear what he said about you?
Or why aren't you doing this? Right.
Right.
People have their desire or how they speak.
Exactly. Because it's easy for people on the other side to tell you about what you aren't doing.
Yes.
Or what if it were me, I would be doing this. If that was my business, I would do this. If that was my show, I would do this. If I was this, all those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're trusting God, you wait until His voice directs you.
Yes.
So that's the at the end of the day, standing is precisely what needs to be done. And even even being uncomfortable, it's a necessary necessary skill that we all need to learn and master. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
There we go.
Yes, ma'am. That was your spiritual connect point.
All right, here we go, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Good evening, Malia. How are you? Those of you who are tuning in live, thank you for joining us. listening to the Healthy Soul Talk Show with your girl, your favorite therapist, Dr. Thomas. And we just got through with our spiritual connect point here. And so this month, right, we've been talking about men, right? Because June is typically Men's Health Month. And so the first few weeks of June, we were diving more into the emotional and mental needs of a man. And so we wanted to conclude this month with talking about in general, right? Some things that men should be aware of, and also just have a dialogue about best practices or best ways to support the man in your life, right? On their journey to better health or maintain it, right? What they do. And so I just kind of pull here some information about, what the focus is for some clinics and some hospitals and some clinicians throughout this month. And so that's what I wanted to dive into. As I share this, I always like to talk about the what ifs, right? How do you support, how do you motivate, right? That those men or that man in your life, that they are encouraged to focus on their health and live healthier lifestyles. And so I wanted to kick it off here. And of course, Dr. King is here.
Oh, Lord. This ain't the did you know, is it? It's not that.
No, that's not the. I see. I was moving along.
Oh,
hold on now.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, y'all, because I did skip right on past that. First, let's back it up a little bit. Did you know?
Uh-oh. The people likes the did you know.
Here we go. Did you know? This is just a fun fact, y'all, that we do here. The average person has over 1,460 dreams a year.
Wow.
The average person has 1,460 dreams a year. Now, here's some context to this. It says the length of a dream can vary. They may last for a few seconds or approximately 20 to 30 minutes. People are more likely to remember the dream if they are awakened during the REM phase. The average person has 3 to 5 dreams per night, and some may have up to 7. However, most dreams are immediately or quickly forgotten. Dreams tend to last longer as the night progresses. During a full 8-hour night sleep, most dreams occur in a typical 2 hours of REM sleep. So, you feel like you have multiple dreams?
I used to have.
They say 3 to 5 dreams per night. I don't know what that actually means in terms of.
Yeah, I don't either. You lost me on that one.
Is it a story? Then it says, okay, next.
Yeah, I used to be an avid dreamer.
Okay.
And I said this. I actually mentioned this in the pulpit about a year or so ago. That I don't dream like I used to, and I don't know if that's a good or I think that was a bad thing, because I used to have very vivid dreams, and now they are few and far between. And I wonder, I'm like,
are you a light sleeper?
Do
you feel like you go into the deep sleep or the REM sleep?
I have been known to go into the REM. Is the REM sleep the deep sleep?
No, it's different. So REM, your brain still is, active, but the deep sleep, you're like paralyzed.
I've been in both.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm always on the edge of dreaming, and then it's either interrupted or my dreams are almost like my thoughts, meaning very confusing. It's like like I could be dreaming that I'm sitting at the table eating, the best meal ever. But then right outside is World War III, and all of a sudden my dinner plate has turned into a map strategy session. So it's like, what just happened? Yeah. So whereas it used to be all these things would play out one thing at a time, whereas now everything is jumbled together. So I don't know what that is. That's a whole nother therapist conversation. That's a lot of time on the couch.
You need some interpretation.
I guess, right. I need an interpreter. Where's David? Right. Somebody go get
Oh my goodness.
Right. Call David. Right.
I think about kids.
Okay. That's what you dream about?
No, heck no.
Oh.
When they leave it.
Oh. You know what?
My daughter, my youngest one, dreams a lot, and she shares her dreams, and I just be like, "What?
Wow.
Who? What bug?"
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but kids, you have to pay attention though to make sure you know.
Wow. So we have that many. The average person,
Average person.
1,400 and
1,460 dreams a year. Average is 3 to 5 dreams per night. Per night. Some
Wow.
have up to 7.
Interesting.
Right? Some have up to 7.
I've had it back in the day. I used to have. I could have 2 or 3 in the same night.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
back in the day. Yeah,
All right.
before life got crazy.
So you need to make sure you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Sleeping. Do
Oh.
you have an Apple Watch?
No, I don't do the Apple. I'm not an
I don't
Apple.
have
Apple nothing.
Fitbit. You got a Fitbit?
No.
Okay. Some devices track your sleep patterns.
Do they really?
Yep. And so I invested in a Fitbit for my fitness journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've slept with it on my, wrist a couple of nights to, track my sleeping. And so that's how I know, got into the REM versus deep versus, surface sleeping. And so, it's pretty interesting. It also measures how much oxygen is going through, your body to your brain. So it kind of tells you how long you were awake.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How long your deep sleep was, your REM sleep was, your light sleep was. So it's pretty neat. I mean, obviously it's not like this accurate tool as if you did a sleep study.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's pretty, it really tells you how much rest you're getting. And I promise you, like that device, doing that those few nights make me more attentive to making sure I slept well. So I feel a difference, right?
Really?
And
So
there's
yeah,
an
see,
awareness that
I have not. Yeah, I go through these periods. Like the other day, I was talking to Tanya. I said I literally woke up every 45 minutes. Yeah, and would be in a deep sleep and just wake up and be woke hard for 20, sleep again, and wake up 45 minutes later every time without fail.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know what that was. Yeah.
Okay.
Whole lot going on over there.
Okay. All right. Well, it's just an awareness, right? So it's like, okay, could be your normal, right?
Right.
Or, something you want to do different, right?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know? All right, here we go, y'all. Let's get into these things to know about men's health, all right, for the Men's Health Month. And so I'm just going to throw some things out there, and then, Dr. King going to come on up in here.
He is? Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. It says here, a focus for the month is men are less likely to seek health care than women. And it was a survey done in Cleveland where they found that 40% of men go to the doctor only when they have a serious health issue and never go for routine checkups. Men also tend to exhibit a fear of diagnosis, and about 21% of men admit to avoiding a doctor because they're too nervous to find out what might be wrong. Would you say that's accurate?
I don't know how I feel about that. What was it? Okay,
They found that for what when it comes to statistics, you are looking at who they surveyed, right? But they found like 40% of the people they surveyed, men go to the doctor only when they have a serious health issue and never go for routine checkups, right? And men also tend to exhibit a fear of diagnosis. And of that, 21% of men admitted avoiding going to the doctor because they were too nervous to find out what might be wrong.
Okay. I can believe that older men might refrain from running to the doctor out of fear of what might be wrong. I think men, period, avoid the doctor.
Yes.
Altogether.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying nothing special, but I think I'm in a rare group of people who believe in going to the doctor.
Even you mean for the routine checkups?
Yeah.
I mean, I know as we get older, we have annual tests.
And I don't think a lot of men do that.
Right.
And so I think there is a natural fear, and then there's an ego thing there. I don't need the doctor, right? I think we could avoid a lot of things if we would just go to the doctor. Now, not being a hypochondriac, but when there's an ailment and it's lasting, a lot of times I believe a lot of men carry ailments longer than they probably need to because we won't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Right? You sprain an ankle, we put it up on ice and call it a day. But when a professional athlete sprains an ankle, he getting looked at by doctors and everything else.
Right.
We playing basketball on the court. We sprain an ankle. We just put ice on it.
Yeah.
Nobody's checking anything out. And I get it. Medical care is expensive. But for those who are insured, if I'm playing basketball and I sprain my ankle, I'm going to the doctor because I want to make sure I didn't tear a ligament that, when I get to be 55 or 60 years old, now I'm walking funny because I never got something that could have been fixed early on. I never got it fixed.
I also find as a woman, you have to be okay with making appointments, doing research.
Okay.
And I say that because not only do I work with, couples and even mothers who are looking for services for their son, they're calling around, right? They're using, you know how you call your insurance company, get a listing, right, of providers, right? And now you have to do the calling, right, see who's available. I find that many men get the support or they go to the doctor when there's someone else, right, helping them navigate this journey, right, this process. And I don't know, I really can't explain why that is so, right? Why some men feel comfortable or more comfortable going to the doctor when they have that type of assistance, right? So I've been where we've done 3-way, right?
Okay.
And they were asking questions. It's not necessarily all mental health, but just navigating, right? The healthcare system, and so, like I said, I don't know really what that means, but for me, it's like, if you're with a man or there's a man in your life, even a young man, right? Because our teenage boys, right, need to learn how to, right, call the doctor, right, make appointments. Some things weren't taught, right, to take care of that business, but being patient with that man. If you know that they don't go to routine checkups, but I found that some men will go if you, I don't want to sound like it's sexist, but if you make the appointment for them, they will go. But them calling themselves, not likely.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if it's a specialist, right? You're talking and you're like, okay, you need to go see the ENT, right? Ear, nose, and throat. I find that if you make the appointment and you tell the man okay, your appointment on this day, right? They're likely to go. you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I can't explain it, right? The why behind that, but I just that's what I read into this. Was I wonder, right, if that kind of goes into what they've been used to, growing up.
Yeah,
and not taking that baton on, right?
Yeah, when you are a kid, you only went to the doctor for booster shots and your school exams when you had to, when you had to go. Other than that, you didn't go to the doctor because the doctor was scary. Because your fear was, if I'm going, I'm gonna get a shot, and I ain't trying to do all that.
That's true.
And hospitals have they smell funny, and at least the kids they do. They smell funny. You don't want to see people in gowns. I never wanted to be in a hospital gown ever.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that was as a child, but as an adult, because I didn't, like I said, I had Dr. Forbes was my doctor from the time I turned 30 up until she retired when I turned 49.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
She was my doctor. So, and she was a female doctor, but she was nice, very talented, very skilled, great, for, quote unquote bedside manner or whatever. And but she made it comfortable to want to go to the doctor, and she made it a point to say, her conversations made you feel comfortable.
Got it.
You know, because the whole thing about a physical, going to get a physical the whole thing about going to get a physical every year is you know, well, why am I doing this? And when you do go, is not just for the basics of the physical, but to inform your doctor if there's something new going on.
Yeah.
And if you're not comfortable with the person who is who you're going to be dealing with, then it's going to be difficult to tell them, well, you know, doc, I know you checked everything else, but you know, I got this sore, or I got this pain in my elbow, or I got this thing on my back, and could you look at it? Because the doctor is only going to go through the checklist.
That is true.
Yeah, so you have to be comfortable enough to say, I'm having some other issues.
Yes.
Right? I'm having some other issues, right? So, and it's uncomfortable for men. It is uncomfortable for men to sometimes have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope that, you know, as we talk about this, especially in our culture, right, we look at these numbers, right, and especially there's some stats that the Chicago Department of Health kind of compiled, which I'll bring in, you know, later in a later show, but they were tracking, you know, certain illnesses, diabetes, heart disease among African Americans, but then they broke it down by male and female, right? So it's just interesting that we have the statistics to show, right, where we're lacking in seeking health care. And it's like, what do we do about it, right? So for me, it's like the takeaway is, you know, again, that man that's in your life, those men that are in your life, right? What investment do you have, right, in supporting them?
Absolutely.
Right, and encouraging them to go to the doctor. So the next thing here says, again, working through Men's Health Month, it says here, prostate cancer affects 1 in 9 men. According to the American Cancer Society, there are about 175,000 new cases of prostate cancer diagnosed each year. And prostate cancer is the most common cancer among among American men. And given these statistics, it's important to ensure that at-risk men are being screened for prostate cancer, especially considering men's known reluctance to seek preventative care. It says here, prostate cancer typically grows slowly, so many cases don't require immediate treatment and aren't life-threatening. Still, the earlier prostate cancer is caught, the easier it can be contained. It's always safe. It's always better to be on the safe side.
Wow.
Right. And you know, I thought about this because I know that's, you know, an exam, an annual, is it annual?
Yeah.
Annual exam for men. And I heard it's uncomfortable. Huh?
I've shared this quite often with
when you get it done, we know it.
Yeah. Because my whole thing, you know, my joke was with my doctor, and it wasn't really a joke. You know, can your fingers get any? Can they shrink? You know, is there something we can do differently? You know, ain't no machine or something you can use that you can just scan me? Like, why it's got to be? You know, like it's 2021. You mean tell me there's no device that you can just put my body in and just give me a complete body scan, and versus you trying to feel around for something? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
You know, you can't ask a woman that question.
Well, no. But even for y'all,
we'll
too.
sit and look at you like, really? Really?
Even for y'all, too. Shoot, I'm just saying.
So what age should you start?
My doctor told me when I turned 40 is when she started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 40, annual?
Annual.
Okay.
Annual prostate exam.
How long is the exam?
A minute.
Okay, very good. I'm asking that because
it's a minute. It lasts. It feels like a lifetime. Jesus, huh? It feels like a lifetime, but it lasts up. It's a minute and a half tops.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not even that long. I'm probably just, because in my mind it's like an hour.
So did she talk you through it? Or
Oh yeah, she is, my doctor was, because like I said, she retired, Dr. Forbes. I think she moved back to Ocho Rios, Jamaica.
Come on now, okay then.
But she would, talk you through it, and it was uncomfortable but funny and at the same time. Because, she let you know, okay, I'm going to, while she's talking to you, it just kind of happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, okay, very smooth. Smooth is good. And I'm like, mm-hmm. That was her thing, and that was, and after a while, that's what you wanted to hear.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
You want to hear the doctor, brothers, I'm just letting y'all know now, you want to hear the doctor say smooth, very good. You don't want to hear them say nothing else, or you don't want him to go, You don't want no hmms. Like, well, what is that? It's smooth. That's all I got.
And then you go on about your business,
And then
right?
Then you pull your pants up, wipe yourself up, and look for a cigarette. There it is.
Oh my goodness! Now, do you have a group of friends where you all check in with each other?
No, so actually, and I'm you saying this. That's actually part of a ministry that I have been had an inkling for a while to do. I want to do a real men's ministry that deals with all of those things.
Wow.
Where and I've been wanting to do it for a while, and then I ran into, and I'm gonna send you a link so you can watch it. There's these professional athletes, Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, as most people know him.
Okay.
The guy used to play for the Bears, Brandon Marshall, and two other athletes. They have this show called I Am Athlete.
Okay.
And where it's 4 men, they sit around all the time, but they have this check-in portion of the show where they ask, how are you doing from 1 to 10, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially.
Okay.
And so they go around the room before they, either at the end of the show or at the beginning of the show. And then they go on and do whatever topic they're going to discuss. But for me and my men's ministry, that's something that I would want to do. And I want to do this thing, I want to call it, it's going to be, men's talk. And where we can discuss these things, where you sit around the room. It's ministry, but it's very informal.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to do a men's Bible study. There's plenty of that. We can incorporate that, but I just want it to be a men's ministry, where a place where, kind of like a safe place. But, a safe place was for all of us. But this is a safe place where men can come and talk and have discussions about all of those things.
Right.
We can talk about, I'm afraid to go to the doctor, or I'm afraid to, I've never had this and this runs in my family and I'm afraid to go check.
Okay.
And if you have people who've done it, can walk you through it. And, because with men, we can joke about it, right? We can joke about it and make light of it. And then even if it's a point of, hey man, we'll go with you.
Right.
Right. I ain't going in the room with you, but, but we'll go with you. Right, but
we do it, right? We will do it.
But there is a who was it? There was this show that came on. I hate it, got canceled. It was either called Over 40, Over 35, or something like that. It was on TNT.
All right.
And there was one episode where this group of guys, they all went and got a colonoscopy.
Oh, okay.
Together.
Okay.
And it was like, what in the world? But they all decided to go because one of their friends, a couple of the friends had cancer scares. So they were like, you know what, we're going to all be supportive together.
Yeah.
So they all went together and got colonoscopies. They went to like it wasn't like a doctor's office, more like a spa.
Okay.
Because you can go to like different, depending on the level of the spa, some spas you can do that, of these health spas, where you can do that kind of stuff. But I think it's very important. I think it's very important to do it.
Okay. All right, fellas, right? And I'm tagging in here, people around, men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Check in.
Absolutely.
Have those conversations, right? There's a man just hit 40, over 40, and they have not had this screening, right? I think
Daughters, ask your father.
Yeah, empathetic.
Yeah,
right?
ask your dad. If you have a dad and you know better than dad, do you go to the doctor? You know, do you get your prostate exam? You know, didn't granddaddy die from whatever cancer? You know, whatever. Do you get checked out on the regular? You know, I mean, I think it's a fair question. Daughters, ask your fathers. Sons, ask your fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's open up lines of communication.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Keep going here. Another fact here. Mental health is one of the most stigmatized issues affecting men. Says here, many men, perhaps more than we think, struggle with their mental health and the stigma that surrounds it. The American Psychological Association reports that 30.6% of men have suffered from depression in their lifetime. Again, men's hesitation to seek care may be worsening this issue. It says men are notorious for not talking about their feelings, and no, that's not just another stereotype. It's an actual trend that psychologists have documented. In the eyes of many men, discussing emotion is just another form of vulnerability that can lead to discomfort. It can be scary for many men to begin sharing their feelings, but the payoff is worth it. Men who express their feelings verbally are less likely to express them violently.
Yeah.
So it says here, talk to the men in your life, encourage them to talk about their day, to tell you about their emotions and to be open with you. They may be resistant at first, but persistence is powerful. And I'm going to come back to that because not nagging. Persistence is powerful.
There's a difference. Thank
you. And you'll be doing your part to improve men's mental health. All right. And you know, right there is where, we've been talking for the last couple of weeks about men feeling safe, right? To share, can they trust you, right? And ensuring that the trust is not, violated, right? And, there's a way, especially if you live with a man, right, to how do you know when you look at that man and he needs a minute to himself before you ask, hey, what's wrong? Right. Okay. If they don't want to talk about it at that moment, right? How do you find the time? Like, what's the opportune time, right? To come back and revisit that, and I find, in my experience, like a different way of encouraging a man to seek mental health is joining him on the journey, right? Meaning speaking we terms, right? We can get through this, right? I can go with you, right? If you make it a joint effort versus you need to see somebody for that, right? Okay, you just can't lay around, right, and spread this energy. I just think of certain things that come to my mind where when specifically a man is going through something, we tend to say, it's a him thing, right? But sometimes when we're going through something, we want to make it, an us thing, right? I need you to support me, right? I think Pastor Lance talked about this last week, like anything a woman say that they need in a relationship, a man needs as well. So even when it comes to mental health, depression, and anxiety, right, that man still needs to know that there is support, there's emotional support even through those symptoms, right? And I think about when a man loses his job, that's huge.
Right.
And he's not going to come right out and say how sad and hurt, and frustrated he is. It's going to show in his behavior. That's not the green light for you to say, all you do is lay around. You walking around here with an attitude, blah, 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 blah. And it's so much more deeper than that.
It's difficult. I remember when my company, the company I was working for, Fieldware, was doing a major downsizing. And I had been there for about 10 years or whatever. And so when the time came, when they let me know they were shutting down my entire unit, I was more concerned about my employees than I was me, because I was good. I was ready to retire anyway.
Yeah.
Because I had already my retirement was set to start at 45.
Okay.
I extended it. So that's all that was, because I was supposed to retire. I was supposed to retire May 5th of 2015.
Okay.
That was my scheduled retirement date, May 5th, 2015. That had been my scheduled retirement date since I was 27 years old. May 5th, I saved, I did what I needed to do. I knew what I was going to do. That was long before this whole radio thing came up, or ministry, any of that stuff. But I had planned it, and then, you know, we're talking, you know, 2 marriages later at the time, and I remember I posted on Facebook while I was sitting at my desk cleaning out my office that, you know, what had happened, and I was thankful for the job and everything. And I remember it was the coolest thing ever, but my ex-wife called me and asked me, was I okay?
Got it.
Yeah, she called me and asked me, was I okay? Which I thought was huge.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times you don't, you know, if you're home with someone, you know, and if you're not the sole provider, if you're part of the provision, it's like all of a sudden you start thinking, okay, what we gonna do now?
Yeah.
You know, and for a man to come home, but it also depends on what the home life is like already.
I agree.
If the home life is not one where difficult conversations can be had, then you losing your job is never going to be easy to tell. But,
or any other
thing,
you're
any
going
other
through.
difficult conversation,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because you're fearful of I can't trust you with this.
Right.
You act the fool when I told you that somebody bumped into the car at the grocery store. What are you gonna do when I come home and tell you that our $200,000 income is now only your 80,000?
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot to swallow. Yeah.
Well, and also I think it doesn't leave room to think about creativity, right? Because we know, it, like you said, if you've been managing, right, that desperate state of financial status won't kick in right away. Right? I think we just automatically go to the what are we going to do as if it's about to be at that very moment, right? And so we don't leave room to talk, right? We don't leave room, right, to even support that man, right, for what just happened, because we done went all the way into sometime next year probably, right? We're feeling the quote unquote the effects, right, of that financial shift. But I think that we have to, especially Black men, we have to take more consideration as to what contributes, right, to the mood, to the emotional stability of one, right? A man once told me, he said there's so much I have to deal with when I'm out on my job. He was pulled over a few times, and this was a professional guy, right? So on every level, any Black man can be pulled over at any time, right? And so he said, when I get home, I can't even share what I've gone through, because the same way I'm treated out there is the same way I'm treated at home, right? And so just think about, where then does that leave mental space to process what's happening in your life, and you're getting frustrated, and what do you do with all of that, right? You're frustrated 24/7 at this point, right? And so that's just something to think about, like, everybody in that home, especially when it comes to men, the safe haven, right? The safe haven has to be home, right? The safe haven has to be where, what he deals with on the outside in the world can't be parallel, right? It just can't be where there's no relief, because then we have to anticipate, right? Frustration. Even to we're going to talk about here some other stuff. Now he's not eating right now he's not even paying attention to his heart rate and the heart palpitations, and now here we have strokes and different things, that it's like a domino effect, right? When you think about, if you can't take care of your emotional stability, how then can you take care of your physical? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And so it essentially begins to be hand in hand, right? When you think about what's going on in this man's in annual physicals or checkups or screenings, is definitely not on the mind, right? If there's a lot of chaos, confusion, frustration, going on, that they're having the process. And then the stigma behind it, I think a lot of stigma is within the culture, right? As well as we don't give the same grace to a man when they lose their job as we would if the woman loses their job.
I agree.
Right? We don't give the same grace, right? When this is not funny, but I've just heard some strange things, like when a man gets sick with a cold, and a woman describes, their demeanor when they have a cold, and I'm like, but you do the same thing.
Yeah, there's this whole thing about
when you get a cold. So
we want our mamas and all that kind of stuff. I think you said something, and we've talked. I think we've mentioned this before, either on your show or somebody else's, that the home has got to be the safe place. Yeah, and it's difficult enough. And it bothers me when I see so many of our conservative brothers talk about the fact that they don't have the fears, that, they're not walking around fearful. And it's not about walking around fearful. Right. I don't, I know if the police run my license plate on my car, ain't nothing bad gonna come up. Right. Right. But that doesn't mean when they get behind me, I don't still feel some kind of way. Right. Right. I know, I recall when I was doing some consulting at Nordstrom's and being on an an escalator in Nordstrom's in Oak Brook, and being on an escalator, and the lady in front of me, or, a white lady, probably in her middle-aged white lady in front of me, her and her daughter, she got on the escalator in front of me. I let her up. That's Nordstrom's policy, by the way. If you work at Nordstrom, or if you contracted, whatever, if you and a customer walk into the escalator at the same time, it is their policy that you let the customer go first. It's their part of their customer service. Okay. So I let them go first because that's the custom. So I let them go, and I always let the escalator go up 3 or 4 stairs before I slide on after somebody ahead of me, unless it's a crowd. So it wasn't really a crowd. I got on. So she looked back, and she clutched her purse. Yes, right. And I started laughing. And the little girl that was with her turned around and started laughing too. She just started laughing because I was laughing. So, I instantly put a post up on Facebook. I'm waiting for it to show up in my memories. I instantly put a post up on Facebook, like live at that moment, saying, this lady just, closed up her purse because for some reason the black guy wearing a $900 suit and some $800 shoes and $3,000 earrings scared her. The clean cut black guy. Right. Not the thug looking black guy with the hood on. Right. But the suited up bruh. Suited up. Scared her. Right? Because I saw her get on the next elevator with the 2 young white boys get up behind her to go to the 3rd floor. And she didn't clutch her purse. I just watched her from that point. Wow. And then what was funny was the same lady saw me later, because I was then on the main floor where the concierge area is at Nordstrom, and I was behind the desk talking to some people, and she saw me behind the desk, and her eyes got big, like, oh, wait a minute, I probably made, oh, so you're comfortable now because I work here? Wow. Right. And that's typical, right? And to have to go home, and then it's like, so if I got people constantly questioning me just off what I look like, then to get home and not to be able to share that story. Yeah. Or to at least, come home and feel like, okay, this is the one place I don't have to, I don't have to pretend. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Michael Herndon says, I don't worry when they pull me over, but I worry after they run my name because you think your past is forgotten. But that's the first thing they use when they address him. Wow. Yeah. Because you don't know. Wow. You don't know. The officer do too much will go and try to see. Because again, this is why I think and I think they've been trying to pass some laws on this. If you had a previous criminal record, if you're just doing on patrol, and I pull over Dr. Kimberly Thomas, and I run your license plate. Okay. And then I pull you over for whatever reason because you were doing something, maybe you didn't turn with a signal. So it's a legit stop. Okay. So now I pull you over, I ask you for your license and your insurance. You hand it to me. I then take it back and I run your driver's license, which then so then any activity you've ever had with the police should come up. My problem is if I don't have an active warrant or anything that's active that I did not show up for court or anything like that in there, nothing else should come up on that screen.
I agree.
The problem is, depending on who you are and where you are, it could be like, oh, this guy had an encounter with this guy was arrested for this. No conviction.
Right.
But was arrested.
Right.
So now it's like, because now you're instilling fear in that possible police officer.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So now I'm worried, and you're right, Michael. I understand what you're saying. Now I'm worried, now I'm feeling some kind of way because that person is now going to come back and saying, oh, he's had some encounters with the police before. Let me call for backup because now I'm out here by myself pulling him over. So now it went from a simple stop, I'm going to let you go, to because of what I saw something you did 10 years ago, let me call for backup because I'm afraid. And now instead of it's just me and you having a cordial conversation, now it's me, you, and 5 cars.
Embarrassed.
Not only it's fearful, and it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
But because Joe Cop is now scared, he done called for backup. And then if it happens to be in one of those towns, where they don't have nothing else to do, the whole police department showing up. Yeah. Ain't no real crime in Oak Brook other than a garage being broken into and somebody's snowblower being stolen. So when they get a traffic stop, they calling everybody if they got to call for backup. I used to live in LaGrange Park. I saw it all day, every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael says exactly because I had an assault case in 96 and in 2021 96. They still treat me the same way.
96.
Exactly. Yeah.
96.
Yeah. Some stuff they shouldn't be. Their car computers should not have access to if it's a closed case.
Right.
I don't care if you were convicted and served time. If you're not on probation or parole, that none of that stuff should come up in their database.
And I think going to that, it's where that man needs to have that outlet.
Yes.
Right, to express that frustration, because that essentially is a reset. I think about the men who don't have that, and the rage builds, right? The frustration, the animosity, the bitterness, the resentment, right? Because they don't have someone, right, that they can vent to, right? And just, hey, I got this off my chest. It's really, now you're stuck in this space, right? And it's repeatedly happening. And so eventually, unfortunately, right, things happen, right? And so that could be, you go off on somebody, right? Or you out and about, right? The next person who bump you, right?
Facts.
And that's why I say it's so important that men have a safe place.
Yeah.
Right. To share. And what I mean by that is, under no circumstances does it come back up again, right? When you get mad at him. That's not an option. You know what I'm saying? That right there, talk about an angry therapist.
Yeah.
To where that's off limits to hit below the belt, in a sense, right? Where you use a man's,
that lets us
challenges in circumstances, right? The weight of the world is against them, right? Just for being black, and in an argument, you turn around, right, and you throw in their face.
The worst thing that could happen is twofold. It's one thing for you to throw it back in my face. It's another thing for it to come up in a different setting from either your friends or your family.
Yes.
Because now you've really violated our safe place.
I see.
It's different if we got into a fight, and I'm not advocating people being physical with each other.
Right.
If the guy put his hands on you, you told your people, you did the right thing. But if y'all just got into an argument and y'all called each other some names, or whatever, or whatever the situation is, or if you had to help him pay his car note, or you had to help him do this, and now all of a sudden your girlfriends now know And now they're saying, you're saying, oh, I'm not going to pick y'all. You saying, hey, could you pick us up from this? And you say no, and then all of a sudden you hear the girlfriend in the background. Hell, you paid the car. No, he ought to be glad to come pick us up.
Wow.
One of those moves.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different conversation. Cause see, if it's me, first of all, if it's my car, then we're gonna have a conversation, but it's good. But or if it's one of those things where you co-signed for the car.
Right.
Because the guy went through a bad phase or something, and you didn't.
Or you put gas in it.
Or whatever. Whatever it is. But I'm just saying, I'll take it a step further. Let's say you co-signed for it, and then you decided to put that information out there, and then now people know it. So then it's like all of a sudden, when you decide you told people, and then you say, hey, could you come do this? And the guy says, no, I'm finna do this. Well, he wouldn't have that car if it wasn't for you.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. She wouldn't have that car. Nobody wants that. Because if it's me, guess what? You can have these keys. You ain't never finna put me in that position.
but that then leads to what else have you told, and what else are you going to taunt in?
Exactly. What else have you done?
Right.
How much more of, because it's like if you're sharing our dining room stories, how long before our bedroom stories get shared?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
How long before our bedroom story? How long before I tell you something that my mom shared with me that was only supposed that I really wasn't supposed to tell you, but because you're my partner, my spouse, I shared it with you because you saw that it was bothering me, and now you done went around, you done went and told your mama and the rest of the crew. Like, wait a minute, see, that's not. Because I am that person is when you say don't tell nobody. Yeah. You might as well have not told me because I ain't telling nobody. So because I'm that person if you say don't tell nobody, and I know if it get out, I tell people if it got out it's because you decided to tell somebody else besides me. Right. Yeah.
And then that kind of goes the same with anything, either health issues or things you've been through in your past.
Yes.
Past relationships, when stuff happened in those. It's just, we have to be careful, right? Mm-hmm. And when we're talking about men this month, so being more aware of how your actions impact, right? Mm-hmm. The man in your life or the men, right? That relationship that you're in. Michael says that's why he teaches his kids, don't give the enemy ammo. So when you're done being mad at someone, then they're going to use it. So now you're mad at them. Absolutely. And therein goes the friction, right? Mm-hmm. In the back and forth, it can get really, really out of hand, mm-hmm. right? Okay, so what's the takeaways? Make sure, right, that the men in your life, they feel safe with you, right? You can't worry about nobody else, right? But those men that's in your life right now, right, mm-hmm. are they safe? Right? Are they emotionally safe with you? Right? Can they share their vulnerabilities? Can they share their secrets with you? And it's safe and it's not conditional, mm-hmm. right? That you maintain confidentiality, that you maintain, right, the sacredness, right, that's within the bond. Mm-hmm. All right. Here we go. Let's keep going here. Another one here, and we're going to wrap it up here. It says here, sleep. Men who sleep 7 to 8 hours a night have about 60% less risk of fatal heart attack than those who sleep 5 hours or less. It's not completely clear why less sleep is detrimental to heart health, but researchers understand that sleeping too little causes disruptions in underlying health conditions and biological processes like glucose metabolism, blood pressure, and inflammation. That same may be true for oversleeping. 7 to 8 hours a night, right? Have about 60% less risk of fatal heart attack.
The ones that get 7 to 8 hours.
The ones that get 7 to 8 hours.
The ones that get less.
The ones, and it says than those who sleep 5 hours or less. When I think about this, I think it kind of goes back to, how we were taught how when you sleep, the body heals itself, mm-hmm. right? And so I think this holds true, especially, again, thinking about our men, the men in our culture, Black men. If they're restless, they're not getting rest, right? They're not taking care of their bodies. They don't sleep, right? They are, many men have PTSD, right? So insomnia is so real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can't nap, right? They're at work and they're holding on, you know, they're running on fuel, air, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have any fuel. They're not eating properly, which, you know, even when they talk about nutrition, right? It says here, men, you know, nutrition, right, is sometimes shaky, right? And how you need 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables, right, a day. So it's like, you know, if your body is conditioned to function in a certain way, which is dysfunctional, right? Therein lies where, you know, we have those internal, right, things which are heart, diabetes, right? Sometimes more drinking occurs here, right? Trying to deal with the stress of life, right? Some smoking, right? Even to, you know, I don't want to say a lot of caffeine, but a lot of other stuff, right? Pills out there, where we do a lot of over-the-counter meds because sleep is not regulated.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So I think more can be read into when you take a bunch of supplements to either try to make you stay awake, right? But then you need to relax, right? And so now you take these depressants, right?
I think a lot of like, because of the times we live in, you know, we're taking all types of whether it be multivitamins and weight loss supplements and dietary supplements, and we're taking all these things to boost and speed up metabolisms. And some of them, you know, require you to take them 2 and 3 times a day.
Yes.
And you don't recognize that, you know, the one you took before your 5 o'clock meal, if it's time released, that, you know, when you're not ready to go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, well, that bad boy done kicked in because it's not going to help speed up your metabolism. Well, how is your metabolism speeding up and you're going to sleep? Because that's the reverse of what your body is supposed to do.
Right.
Your metabolism actually slows down when you're sleeping.
Correct.
It's still going, but it slows down, which is why they tell you don't eat and pass out, because you know that food is not being properly metabolized. But yeah, we sleep. The sleep study thing, didn't it change? I remember for 1 year they were like, you need 8 hours. And then I think it was somewhere around 2010, 12 or something, some study came out saying you only needed 6. And then just most recently it came back again. They want you to go back to the 8. I'm like, y'all need to figure it out.
I think
figure it out.
It really depends on how you feel. You know how sometimes people say, when I wake up, it feels like I haven't slept. So there's a difference in laying in bed for 8 hours, right? And so just thinking about what's the quality of sleep, right? What quality of sleep are you getting? Because that does matter, right? If you're restless, tossing and turning, some people get up 5, 6, 7 times, right, throughout the night. I know some people who they start watching TV. Right before they go back to sleep, and now they're clocking like, okay, I slept for 2 hours, right? And I'm talking watch what they call that, series, you know, like multiple sitcoms, and so it gets to where that wouldn't count in your 7 to 8 hours a night of sleep because it was interrupted, right? And so you have to be conscious of, and I think that's something that men per se don't talk about as much as women, like the quality of sleep that they get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The quality does matter. The quality, I think, matters more than the quantity, because if I'm sleeping for 8 hours and it wasn't a good sleep, it was a restless type sleep. Yeah. Then that really wasn't good sleep, because now I'm waking up tired because I woke up still feeling like I was in a fight. But if I can sleep, if I have some good sleep for 5 to 6 hours, I wake up refreshed and ready to tackle the day. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And that comes with, you know, I believe in, you know, when we close it like this, decompressing. Right. So I want to push, you know, as we reflect on, you know, Men's Health Month, right? Are you taking care of your body? You know, from head to toe. Right? Are you sleeping well? how's your appetite, right? Are you physically active? You know, working out is not just for, weight maintenance or, weight loss or, muscle, but it's actually for mental health as well, right? Because we thrive off chemicals and, hormones, right? And so there's actually blood work that men can have to screen their hormone levels, because just like women's hormones can be off the same way with men, right? And I'm not talking about sex hormones, right? It's hormones that regulate our moods, our bodies, metabolism, right? All that thyroid. So it really goes with when you talk about your physical and annual exams, that includes the appropriate blood work, right? Because sometimes your serotonin levels can be low, which is that level serotonin, which regulates our mood, right? Too low, we tend to feel more depression symptoms, right? And here, anxiety kicks in because you're trying to figure out what's wrong, right? And so sometimes it's a medical, right? A biological thing. And so it's so important, right? To ask yourself, men, how well am I taking care of myself, right? Am I more attentive to others than myself, right? No, am I in pain? How long have I been, in this pain, right? Are there scars on my body that's not healing? And I'm talking anywhere, right? Paying attention to your body, right? Taking care of your body. I'm a firm believer, like if you're not the person who likes to sit and it's a long wait, calling around and seeing who's available and, what type of specialist do you need, ask for help, right? Really seek, right? Assistance with, taking care of your body. I hope that you find, someone you trust, right? That can make those calls, that can, get the necessary information you need, that you trust if they, want, if you want someone to go with you, right? Especially for these, invasive exams, right?
Right.
I think we have to keep it real.
Absolutely.
In understanding that the best you only comes from when you take care of you, right? You can't work hard and be fatigued. You can't work hard and be mentally exhausted. You can't work hard in pain.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Even though that's the expectation that society has placed on us, and we've wrongly placed on ourselves.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to keep working,
right,
in the midst of whatever, and that goes exactly against. We talked about what to do. How do you just stand earlier?
Yeah.
And it's there has to be a point where you just stop and do some self-examination while you're standing, right? You can do some self-examination. You can say, okay, I keep ending up here. How do I keep ending up here? Let me pause.
Yes.
And take a look around at my surroundings before I do this, because this is starting to look familiar again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you need an outlet to talk, right, and you don't have your fellas, right, or another family member, seek counseling.
Yeah.
Right. There are many male counselors out there. You can go online to Psychology Today, right, and look up, specific things if you want African American or a specialty or, a certain area, right, demographic, where location, right, seek help, seek support groups, right? Know that you're not alone, right? Even with, support groups, they have, cancer survivors, right? Grief and loss, right? And we're talking especially for men, right? Specifically for men. And so it just really warrants trusting, right? Trusting yourself that this is what's best for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're now down to, because so many things are going on around us, it's moving very fast, right? And so Google is not your doctor. Google cannot be your doctor.
No.
Right?
No.
Sitting with someone processing,
Right.
asking questions.
WebMD either. That can't be your doctor either. Even though we want it to be.
Well,
It
you know,
can't
and even with those particular websites,
be. Mhm.
they provide a service to people, right?
Right.
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 So
They
you
still
have,
tell you at the end of the day to go see a doctor.
right? And so it's
right.
really like, okay, when you read this information, you use it to further ask questions,
Mhm.
right? You don't take it all like, oh, this must be it, right? It did go see the pharmacist, you know, or just visit Al, whatever, you know, to get some medication. It really should become, well, you know, if I have an idea or I better understand my symptoms, now I need to go see the appropriate person.
Mhm.
Right? Even when it comes to mental health, right? You know, you can't self-diagnose. You can't diagnose yourself,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of times it's not about diagnosis anyway.
Mhm.
It's about treating the symptoms,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
So at the
Facts.
end of the day, you know, we could give you a diagnosis, but what we're treating is the symptom.
Mhm.
We're treating your insomnia. We're treating your sadness. We're treating your inability to concentrate. We're treating, right? That doctor is treating your high blood pressure, right? Your doctor is treating the high, you know what I'm saying? He's treating the symptoms of
Yes.
the diagnosis. He's asking you to change your diet to reduce your risk of diabetes.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So a diagnosis is really a blueprint.
Absolutely.
Right, it's really a blueprint. We're treating, you know, what you're experiencing. So, I hope that you know this month, in some way, right, a man has made an appointment, or a woman, or child, or you know, son, daughter, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, has made an appointment for that man in their life who they know, right, has not made that appointment to get those screenings done, or has not made an appointment that they know they need some emotional support, even with spirituality, right? You know, if there's a man, you know, in your space right now and they're desiring, right, to get closer to God, can you minister to them?
Yeah.
Right? Can you minister to them?
Hmm.
Right? Can you read the Bible with them, not spit scriptures at them, but can you read the word with them?
Yeah. That's the key. Do you are you surrounded? Like what is your circle look like? Is your circle one of just people who you just party with,
Right.
or is it a circle that you can build with?
Yeah.
Is it a circle that says, you know, when I'm down, I can lean on this circle? If
Right.
are there specific people in the circle that serve those purposes?
Yes.
Is there a spiritual connect point in that circle?
Right.
Is there a vent location in that circle? Is there a place I can go and I don't want your advice? I just want to come. You hear me curse for 5 minutes and I'm going to cuss and say some words, and then I'm able to walk away, and I'm not worried about you going back telling people, he just came and sat on my couch and talked about everybody and their mom and got up and left.
Yeah.
You know, does that place exist? So, yeah. That's good.
All right, y'all. So June has been the month of men for us.
Is
right?
this the last Thursday in June? It is.
It is.
Oh, wow. You're right. Okay. You're right.
We're going into another month, right?
Dang, it's July already? Good
July.
Lord.
It's coming. It's coming. All right, y'all. So men, take care of yourselves, right? Those of you who live with men, surrounded by men, associated with men, right? Check in on them. All right? Check in on them. And with a genuine heart, right? A genuine heart, a genuine approach, because we're here to support each other. All right, y'all. Tune in tomorrow for Praise Break Friday with Dr. King. And then you all, of course, have a safe weekend. And we'll be back next week, kicking off. That is July 1st.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
7th month of the year.
Yeah.
Heading out here. Heading out here.
Show number, that'll be your
What's
show
it?
number 52.
Come on now.
But that will be episode broadcast 999 for TTLO Media.
Oh, come, yeah. Okay.
Because Friday, next week Friday, is the 1000th.
We gonna party like it's 1999.
We gonna do something. We gonna do something.
Michael is checking in on you.
We
Thank
gonna
you,
do
Michael.
something. Thank you, Michael. I'm good, sir. Appreciate you.
You all right? We checking in on you back. All right. All right, you all. Have a good one. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your night.
And everybody should know